SpaceX Super Heavy is more of a monster than you think. Elon Musk founded SpaceX in order to achieve his dream of establishing a colony for humanity to live on Mars. To do so, a spacecraft must successfully transport humans to the Red Planet without casualty. He felt the Starship would be a dependable way of transporting many persons in hundreds to Mars. Therefore, he began establishing various engineering factories and technology to construct the Starship. But something about the Starship that operates more than we could lay our thoughts on is the Super Heavy booster. The booster has been designed to be able to transport itself, stacked with the Starship on top, and coupled with 100 persons across the Earth's thick atmosphere. Now, the gist is, this booster is designed with a typical engineering concept that you may not know of, especially how 33 sea-level optimized Raptor engines are installed beneath it, and the powerful thrust emitted from these Raptor engines. We are going to find out all about these in this video. This is TechSpace. If you're new here, we specially invite you to join many of our lovely fans. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. It motivates us to produce more fantastic content like this, and you'll have a lifetime access to all of our high-end tech videos. If we check through the history of rocket launches, no rocket has ever been recorded to be fired by 33 engines, and neither Roscosmos nor NASA has been able to create such a rocket. The Starship is the sole hope for SpaceX and Elon to win the honors and accolades that the world will bestow upon him. If it successfully travels to the moon and returns safely, the world will award Elon Musk and officially celebrate him. Though Times magazine has given Musk the Person of the Year, according to Time, Bezos was the choice in 1999 when C-commerce was just beginning to take off. Zuckerberg was selected in 2010, well before it was cleared what Facebook's full effect on society and democracy would be. We do not yet know how fully Tesla, SpaceX, and the ventures Musk has yet to think up will change our lives. At 50, Elon Musk has plenty of time to write the future, his own and ours. Like it or not, we are now in Musk's world. Elon Musk is Time's 2021 Person of the Year for solving an incredible problem, symbolizing the potential and hazards of the age of digital giants, and driving society's most ambitious and disruptive innovations. On December the 13th, 2021, the Times News released these statements on its news trend. Time praised Elon for the improvements he made to the space system, but a beast-like vessel that transformed rocket innovation and space launch theory, as well as SpaceX's rocket inventory, is none other than the Super Heavy booster. It stands 160 feet tall and is powered by 33 engines. Other rockets launched into orbit use a maximum of 3 to 4 engines, not to mention the more than 30 Raptor engines installed under each Super Heavy, which dramatically transforms the first stage Starship, or Super Heavy, into a monster. It's as if SpaceX printed it from another universe, with distinct technological concepts. Or you may argue it's from an alien planet. We can't really tell anyways. The engine of the Super Heavy, generally referred to as the Raptor engine, uses what is known as a full-flow staged combustion engine. Wait a minute, sometimes you might not have an idea of what this type of engine means, but here is an explanation. A full-flow staged combustion engine is a twin-shaft staged combustion cycle with oxidizer-rich and fuel-rich preburners. The term comes from the fact that the cycle permits complete passage of both propellants through the turbines. It often refers to how a pump spins a turbine to drive the engine, with a preburner injecting a tiny quantity of fuel to start the process. In a standard open cycle engine, some propellant is spent to start this process, but Raptor will utilize every drop of propellant available, making it one of the most efficient rocket engines ever built. Raptor burns that fuel at a high enough pressure which it would guide the fire from the preburner back into the combustion chamber and totally burn that propellant with the rest of the propellant, says Massachusetts Institute of Technology space specialist Charlie Garcia. And it does it in a really clever way that only the Russians have done before, by feeding all of the propellant into the engine through the preburners, he added. Now you know what a full-flow staged combustion engine is, let's move on to more important discussions. The Raptor engine is just the third in history to use this method, whilst Merlin employs the more common open cycle system. Other engines that attempted to employ the full-flow approach include one in the Soviet Union during the 1960s and another in the United States in the early 2000s, although this one did not make it through the testing stage. As a result, Raptor has almost 3 times the pressure of Merlin, making it the highest pressure rocket engine in existence and leading in the aforementioned superior thrust than Merlin despite its identical size. Musk said in 2016 that the Raptor engine's main chamber has an incredible chamber of approximately 300 bars, which necessitates the creation of a new metal alloy. Previously, most rocket engines depended on fuels such such as kerosene instead of methane. The fundamental advantage of employing methane is that it performs better than other fuels, allowing the rocket to be more cost-effective on every launch. Of course, the usage of methane, which harkens back to SpaceX's ultimate aim, is Raptor's second key advance over its predecessor. SpaceX isn't the only corporation going to methane. Blue Origin, led by Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, is also constructing its own methane engine, known as Blue Engine 4 or BE4 engine, although its chamber pressure is far lesser than that of SpaceX, which is 134 bar. The second stage Starship vehicle is planned to fly with 6 Raptor engines in addition to 35 on the Super Heavy rocket, a total of 41 per launch. The Falcon Heavy, SpaceX's largest rocket to date, is powered by 28 Merlin engines, 27 on the bottom and 1 on the upper stage. During Dodd's tour at SpaceX Starbase, he pointed out that since they are using so many Raptor engines, they are going to have to scale up manufacture to an absolutely incredible pace. Elon has mentioned creating one in 12 hours, which would be unprecedented in the business. Even if one is being made every week, that's rather outstanding. Then Musk confirms that SpaceX is considering ways to construct one Raptor engine in 24 hours, but for the time being, they're just producing one each week, which is rather possible and outstanding. This is critical to SpaceX's ambition of making regular journeys to and from Mars with the Starship, which will allow it to be nearly self-sufficient in terms of fuel. This has been humanity's golden grail of solar system entry, Garcia adds, because when you can refuel in orbit, your propellant no longer has to originate from Earth. Along with these extravagant promises, Raptor represents a major shift in SpaceX's objectives from modest Earth-based missions to solar system exploration. The latest Starhopper test was an important advancement, and if Raptor even lives up to some of its promises, the future might be very bright indeed. Raptor will play a vital role if SpaceX is successful in reaching Mars. Furthermore, Starship has a massive edge over other rockets' liftoff development, including NASA's long-delayed Space Launch System and Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. The upper part of the rocket is planned to be refueled around the Earth's orbit by other starships, allowing it to devote more of its lifting capacity to scientific instruments rather than fuel. Getting humans to the moon, for instance, may need 8 different launches, with each successive tanker Starship delivering fuel to the lunar Starship, which then travels to the moon with research equipment and crew. Musk has estimated that SpaceX might launch up to a dozen Starship test flights in 2022, with missions to the moon and Mars on the horizon, as well as lots of research potential. That is, if the FAA finally concludes their everlasting environmental investigations and grants SpaceX to lift off at any time they want. At this point, the general belief among close observers of SpaceX's Starship program is that the extraordinary amount of time it took the company to complete Booster 4's initial test was due to the orbital launch location required to completely test it, rather than the rocket itself. To put it differently, SpaceX must be confident enough in the quality of the first few Super Heavies leaving its Starbase factory that it deems unnecessary to test the structural integrity of the first truly completed Super Heavy booster before putting the one and only orbital Starship launch site directly in the line of fire. Regardless, based on how far Super Heavy Booster 4's first cryogenic proof test progressed, SpaceX's assumptions appear to have been right. SpaceX may also do extensive study on the recent Raptor 2 engine, and by mid-2022, we may learn that SpaceX has finally launched something better than the Raptor 2 engine. What other rocket engines do you think are exactly equivalent to the SpaceX Raptor engine? Please do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, please like, share, subscribe, and whilst you're still around, why don't you click on one of those flashing videos on the screen for more content.